Hey guys, you're watching Christ and
Chai. I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Jordan, and this show is all about Christ, Jesus, and the chai. Get it?
The tea.
The tea. So this is our first ever episode, first ever series. So the funny thing about this is we had this idea when?
Like 2 days ago.
Like 2 days ago. The reason why was my mother had a dream, and we sort of like in this journey of our lives where God is just showing up in dreams and he's speaking to us, and it's like so real, and we talk like amongst ourselves and we're like, what do you think that meant? And each of us has like a sort of interpretation of specific things, so it's so cool that we have that. But also back to the point, so my mom had a dream, and then she's like, girls, like, what do you think this means? And she sent like a whole voice note. And then my sister and I, we were like, why not just tell her in a voice note? Because we started talking about it. We started talking about the whole dream, and then Jazz was like, wait, let's just record it. So we recorded it, and then it felt like a podcast.
I guess that's one of the reasons why we decided to do it anyway. Because every night we sit together on this couch and we'll talk stories. And we'll talk about how God is moving in our lives. We'll talk about the dreams that we had. And we'll basically just bounce off
each other.
Yeah.
Bounce
off each other. I didn't mean that. I meant bounce idea, like have ideas
off of each other. Where are you bouncing it? So that's how we started this, our very own little podcast in the perfect place ever, because this is where it usually happens. This is where we usually spill the chai. So we were thinking about what our first series would be, like what the topic would be. And I think for us, especially in this stage of our lives, it's like God has been showing up as the ultimate girl dad. And we just thought that would be the perfect thing to start with. There's obviously like other topics that we want to go into. This is mainly like to share our experiences, to share our testimonies, and also like there's so many things that we've learned along the road about trusting God, about having faith, about how like identity, like there's so many things that God has taught us that we just want to share it. We want to share our heart, and like we just want to help you in your walk with Christ. So obviously we don't know everything, but there's a lot that we have learned on our journey so far, and we have felt it in our hearts to share. And that is what we are doing.
Just every day we literally sit here and there's so much that we talk about, and sometimes we can be talking about one thing and then you have also something that happened to you as well, or something that you have learned when you experienced something similar before that you can share with me, or me with you. And it was like, why not do it on a podcast, and why not share it with other people who also may experience the same thing but don't necessarily have other people to talk to about it, or don't really know if anyone else is going through something similar.
Yeah. So on that note, our first ever series, episode 1 of God, the ultimate girl dad. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about that?
Why are you asking me questions and stuff? Oh.
No.
You never tell me you're gonna ask me questions and stuff. I don't prepare for that.
So disclaimer, we do have a dad. Our parents were divorced when we were younger, but we still had a dad. But the point of this whole series is just to share that like our earthly parents are a bonus, but God is the ultimate father. He's the ultimate parent that we need. And if all that you have is God, then you have all that you need. And I think so many of us, we put so much focus on our earthly parents and less
what
focus,
they can do, what they can provide for us. And it's so easy to just go to your parents and say mom or dad. Oh, and for a girl more specifically, you don't want to go to your dad and say I want this, I saw this, I like this, or whatever. And then we forget that the God that we serve is able to do so much more than an earthly father or parent in general.
And I feel like also earthly parents, because they're human, they have limitations, they disappoint us. But here God comes and he's like, I am your father, I'm your heavenly father, and he is a perfect God. So he doesn't come with all those disappointments and limitations. If anything, he is more than you could ever ask for. He gives you more than you could ever ask for. He is more than you could ever ask for. And I think that is like such a wonderful thing to have, God in that way.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that led us to him is the fact that our parents got divorced when we were very young, and it sort of like left a void. And eventually we came to a point in our lives, obviously we both have our own journeys, where at which point in our lives we came to the understanding that it's God that we look to. But ultimately that's what led us to Christ, because there was a void that needed to be filled.
Yeah.
And
before that, we were filling it with all other things, looking for that attention, that affection, that looking for everything that a father would give his daughter. We were looking for it in other places.
Yeah.
All the bad places.
Yeah, it's like constantly looking for the satisfaction and waiting for the satisfaction, like constantly doing things that you know you shouldn't be doing, but it's giving you like little moments of temporary relief or pleasure or whatever, not realizing that there's actually a God there that's literally waiting for us to come to him, where in that situation it's not temporary, it's not just a little moment or temporary fixes, and it's not just when you before you go to bed at night and you pray and you talk to him. It's not that. It's like this constant every second of the day feeling that you are so loved, and there's no void, there's no emptiness, like it
changes everything.
It does.
But I heard this one person they say that, you know, this void we're talking about, they said there's a God-shaped void.
Yeah.
Isn't that's like, because you know, we think of a void and like it could be so many things, like you need love, you need this, you need that, but the truth is it comes down, if we go to the root core of it, it's God that we are missing. It's a God-shaped void that only he can fill that.
The thing I'm thinking about right now when you're saying a God-shaped void is like if you have a mold of something and what fits into it is, like, for example, if you have a mold of a heart, what is going to fit into that mold is something heart-shaped. And if you are constantly filling it with other things, like it's not going to. Maybe it will, like you try and force it a little bit or whatever.
Eventually it's going to like slip out of place because it's not meant to be there.
Exactly. So basically what we're doing is there's this shape inside of us that only, or void that only God can fill. And we are filling it with all the wrong things, and that is why there's still an emptiness and still a void, because it's not being complete, it's not full.
But I feel like when you like surrender your life and you allow God to take the lead and he fills that void, it's like you realize why it was needed so much. Like things completely change and shift, and it's just like completely different. Like everything changes, actually. The way that you see yourself, the way that you see others, the way everything changes.
Your whole perspective
on life, life, relationships, money, everything.
And you notice that the things that feel, without God, the things that feel so deep and so intense and so serious doesn't feel that way anymore, because you're ultimately giving up the control that you want on everything, and you just leave it to God.
And like now, like the things that I wouldn't even be bothered about then, like now that is what that is like my heart now. That is what I want to do, and that's what, and the things that I used to worry about before, like that is like who even cares about
the least of your concerns.
In
what What moment or point in your life drove you to the fact that, or to the realization that God is my dad and He's the ultimate girl dad? What is that turning point? Because we all have that turning point in our lives
like click.
where we clearly remember that there
Yeah.
was this moment that shifted everything.
Yeah.
So what was like that moment for you?
So I think I shared this actually on Instagram and TikTok. So for me, like growing up, like the main thing was like having a dad as a provider. You know, like how some girls like go and they're like, Dad, I saw this like new like pants at Pavilion. And then like, you know, I really want those pants. It's like only like 700 rand, and then the dad will be like, here, have the money, or like I'll transfer it to your bank account. And then, you know, like that, like little things. I'm saying 700 rand, but like
just not having to worry about what you need to do to get something. It's knowing that somebody else
is taking care of everything. And those little things, you can even enjoy the luxuries of life.
Yeah.
And I always like, I always talk about these two people. Oh my gosh, his father and his daughter. So, I in my circle of life, let's say, there's this father and this daughter, and I see them often. And back then, there was a moment where I was in the room with them, and they were having this little moment, you know, like fathers and daughters, and he was like laughing and making her laugh, and she was joking with him. And like at this point I'm a bit I would say I'm close to her, so I know her and I know what her dad does for her and their relationship sort of thing. But in that moment, I'm looking at them and how they are just interacting with each other, and they're just like talking and laughing. And then I remember so clearly in my head, I said, God, why don't I have that? What did I do that I don't deserve that? I say that in my head. I don't think there was any like hatred, or like maybe there was a bit of envy, but it was like God, why don't I have that? Like, what did I do so wrong that I didn't have that picture of what a father and daughter relationship looks like? And this was actually the first time that God spoke to me. Like I heard that still small voice. Like this was the first time, and like I went like crazy after this. And I think because I heard God's voice, that click made it like permanent click, you know? Like now I don't even doubt it. Now I don't even like care about anything. Now I'm just like, no, God is my dad, and that is it. I still have my dad, but like, you know? And I remember so clearly God said, then what am I? And in that moment, it was like I didn't even know like what to say or what to do, because the God, the creator of the universe, is listening to me have this. If you think about it, in this big world that we live in, it's me looking at a father and daughter and asking like, why don't I have that? It's a bit small in like the reality of the world, with wars going on and famine and, you know, poverty. It's a bit small what I was thinking and asking God for. But in that moment, this big God almost came to my level, his daughter, and he was like just there to reassure me. And I think that's I'm going a bit off topic, but I think that's also what makes God like so amazing. He is the creator of the universe. He made everything, yet he is still mindful of us, yet he still loves us and takes care of us. And it's those small little things.
Yeah. He has so many children.
Yeah, but like individually he's like, I care about you, I care about you, I care about you.
Yeah.
And it's just like so amazing to think about it. But anyway, then God was like, then who am I? And then in that moment, it was almost like he was bringing to memory pictures of my life, like my job and my car and my iPhones, and like the favor and the joy and the all of it. And I just remember seeing pictures of my life just being replayed in my head. And honestly, like, not many people know my life, but
But sort of, he's like,
yeah,
and this,
yeah,
and that.
yeah. But not many people know my life. If, like, my life is impossible. By human standards, the way that my life is right now and the way that both of our lives actually, the way our lives are is absolutely impossible. If we go and tell somebody who does not believe God that this is my life, they will be like, no, that doesn't make any sense. That's not possible, like, rationally,
Yeah.
if you think about it.
Like, where did...
Yeah, because God has just been like crazy. But yeah, in that moment, I remembered everything. And then I was like, oh my gosh, God, you are so right. Because you provided for me, you took care of me, you've loved me, you have done this and done that and done this and done that. And there was just heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps of things that He has done. And here I was looking at what I didn't have. But that is like nothing compared to what God is to me. And in that moment, it was like my eyes were like open. My eyes open and like
Try to see things differently.
Yeah, completely differently. And I sort of had a moment to step back and realize just how blessed I was and just how much God has been my dad. And that I actually didn't need anybody else but Him to do everything that I've done. And yeah, it's just all been Him.
And you know what else? Like, even for those people who, or those girls who do have parents or fathers that they could just run to whenever they want something or whatever the case is, that void will still be there. There's always the feeling of wanting more and needing more and having to ask and having to keep going back and also like this guilty feeling. Maybe I'm just expecting too much. Maybe this, maybe that. To our earthly fathers and earthly parents, there, like you said, there are just limitations around it. But to God, it's like He has so much already waiting for you that
He's just waiting.
He also already knows what you want and what you need even before you ask for it. Like, how many times has He actually done something for you without you even...
without me even knowing I needed it in the first place. Or, it's just been like... But that's how God is. That, like, the way that He loves us and the way that... Like, I mean, if you think about it, there's a scripture that says that He knows the very hairs on our head. Like, that's a bit crazy. Like, He loves us so much that He pays attention to details about us. Like, this big God, like, it still, like, blows my mind every time I think about it.
Who else is going to do that? Who else would even be able to do that? Like,
who else cares about us that much? And, like, it's very easy to say, like, you know, people here, like, our parents and, like, boyfriends and girlfriends and friends care about us, but this God that is so big, Him caring about us, like you said, with the millions of, I don't know, what's the population now? With all those people in the world, and He still thinks about, like, each and every one of us. And that's just, like, that just blows my mind every time.
And also with how He cares about us and how He loves us, like, with humans and other people who love us and care about us, they also have their own lives to think about. They also have their own issues and their own things that they're working on internally and their own problems and their own stress and whatever that they're also trusting God for. So sometimes the last thing that they care about is the little things that we need, or the little things that we care about, or the little things that are affecting us. But for God, it's like nothing is too little for me. Nothing that you are worrying about or you are stressing about is too little for me to just come in and handle for you. It's not like I have to leave aside all my stress or all my drama and come to you now, and I have all this going on in my mind and I have to worry about you. It's not like that. But that is how it is with earthly with people. But with God, it's like He's always present.
Yeah, He's always there for you. And also, you said like about earthly people, like the people around us. Also, like more if you think about it, okay, maybe I'll say majority of the relationships, it's based off of conditions.
Yeah.
I love you, you love me, but it's reciprocation.
Yeah.
Is that what?
Yeah. It's not, and it's not personal.
No,
it's
it's
just
like
human
it's not that
nature.
deep. Yeah, it's like if I love you, you gotta love me this way. You know, it's like that. And that's actually like a lot of our relationships. And if you do something wrong, mess up, it's gonna be a problem. And sometimes you can lose relationships based off of that. But here, God is like, there is nothing that you could ever do that will make me not love you anymore, that will chase me away from you. There is absolutely nothing. So his love is like so unconditional. If you think, yeah, it is so unconditional. It's not based off of emotions and feelings. Because even like some people in our lives, like one day they could love us and the next day they cannot love us. It varies.
You never have to fear that or worry about that with God. Whereas with people, you never know. Like people could change, and there's always something that could lead to something changing.
You never know.
Yeah, like with people, that's how it is. But with God, it's like even if something happens and even if you stray away from Him, He's literally still sitting there.
They're waiting.
Like how, obviously he's a parent, but it's like reminds me of this child where they lose something and they just waiting there for it to come back. That's how he's waiting, because that's how much he loves us and how much he wants us to come back to him. He never leaves, but he is there waiting for you to come back home. Always.
It's sort of like that. I think that story in the Bible about the prodigal son is such a perfect like picture of the way that God is with us. Like the son, he decides, like, if you don't know the story, the son tells his father, like, I'm not gonna wait for my inheritance. I'm not gonna wait for you to give me my inheritance, whatever. I want my inheritance now, and I'm going to go live my life, basically. And he goes and he lives his life and he does all the nonsense, and then eventually he loses all the money and he's sitting, like, I can't really remember, but he's sitting in this place, and I think he was sitting with the pigs or something. And then he thought and he said, even the servants in my father's house have food to eat and live better than this. And then he said, let me go back to my father's house. Even if he gives me a servant's job, I'll be happy. So he goes on his way to his father's house, and like halfway there, as he's walking down the road, his father runs out and doesn't even ask about money or anything like that. He just goes and he hugs his son, he embraces him, and he puts a robe on him, and he puts a ring on his finger. And that is so like how God is with us. Like, he doesn't care about all the time wasted, all the time we spent living in the world and dancing with the devil. He just cares about us coming back, and he's just waiting for that moment. Because the prodigal son, his father didn't care. He didn't even ask him about the money, where's the money or whatever. Remember, he took half of his inheritance. That must have been a lot of money. But his father didn't care at all. He was just so happy that his son was back home. And that's exactly how God is with us. He's just waiting.
And in the earthly way, how you would majority of the time expect it to go down is if you go and do all of that and you come back home, it's like the questions are there, like,
where's the money?
Where's the money? What did you do? How could you do something like that? I'm so disappointed in you, you know, something
what
like
is
that.
wrong with you? Something wrong with you.
But it clearly shows you that with God, it's like the first things first, my child is back. And everything else is pushed aside. Nothing matters more.
I think we spoke about a lot.
We're also rambling a lot and going from one topic to
so
another.
Remember, this is our first ever episode.
But also remember that this is how we talk every night too.
Yeah.
So we wanted to give you insight on how our evenings go.
We want to be as real as
Yeah.
we don't really want to be like off script. We want the Holy Spirit to work and speak through us as well and speak to your heart. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and it's quite exciting. We got a table for this night.
We did.
And these letters.
And how cute is this?
So
Look,
cute.
Oh,
yeah, but it's too far.
Oh.
So the next episode we want to speak about identity, like how knowing who God is changes everything. With the identity, who you are, and yeah, so if you're interested in that, definitely wait for it. And until next time,
Right.
Bye.
Bye.